Hello everyone. In this segment we are going to be running around Thedas, getting some quests done, and closing some Fade Rifts. We are nearly at the end of our story, so we are wrapping things up before we hit the story climax. We do still have the Jaws of Hakken DLC, but we're not going to get into that until we've wrapped up more of our around the world stuff. We have our report on the Bulls Chargers working to inflate our numbers to confuse the enemy. Obviously, if you let the Bulls Chargers die during Bull's personal quest, you don't get any of these. You do, however, get War Table quests from the Ben Hasrath. We also have our request from Dagna here. She wants to examine the Fade and our anchor. We will allow her to do that and see what happens.
Let's see what we have.
We'll be spread thin until the rest of our forces return from the Arbor Wilds.
Of course.
Right now we are finding the source of the Darkspawn in the Western Approach. We are kind of dicking around. As we have investigated the Darkspawn, we have found that there is some Venatori activity in the area. So we're going to be investigating this kind of ruin, and as we come down here we do find some interesting codexes on slavery in Tevinter, as well as what the Venatori are up to.
So they were using the giant as a beast of burden. What a charming pet.
If you'll recall, we did find notes on trying to breed giants in Umpristilion. This is about how Tevinter slaves have created their own languages to kind of communicate with each other and issue warnings.
That's just this lot. How many we after?
The Darkspawn will have the run of this place.
Never easy with you, is it?
Come on, Sarah, you knew what you signed up for. We're trying to plug the giant sky hole, remember? Here is our Darkspawn
The Darkspawn
entrance.
are coming up through here.
Well, let's seal it before more join us. Giant Captain's Island should see fewer Darkspawn now.
The tunnel was opened from the outside. Someone was digging here.
So basically, our Venatori, in addition to being giant assholes who kidnap giants, accidentally unleashed Darkspawn. Because helping Corypheus wasn't jerkish enough? Here is an old list of prisoners that this place used to hold, in addition to some of their crimes. This is a sad codex entry about a slave whose daughter has gone missing. Here's a note with some details about the mission itself.
Venatori. They've been excavating. I take it breaking into Darkspawn tunnels wasn't part of the plan.
And of course, as we head out trying to track down the Venatori jerks, we have to find their giant. Because of course.
Dead!
Nothing's ever simple, is it?
The men here were laborers. Someone must have been coordinating their efforts. I doubt they stuck around to fend off Darkspawn.
And of course, it's giants. At least they're big targets.
Yep, we have another giant right outside. Up here is the big battle where our Venatori are hiding out. Not going to be that difficult of a battle considering we're way overpowered for it. But the dude that we need is right up there and he's about to go down. We're just going to electrocute him. You can see his health is just slowly winding down. Slowly but surely. He's not actually going to die. He's one of the ones that we can put on trial.
The Venatori will not easily recover now. It should make our own hold on the region stronger.
Still breathing. He's resilient, I'll give him that.
Resilient and resourceful. You could make use of that, my dear.
Have some of the troops bring him in. I'll deal with him back at Skyhold.
Whatever his reasons, we can see that this particular Venatori, Servius, was actually trying to move out and into a different line of work.
The approach seems to be recovering from the old blight.
The desert is a result of the blight. I do admit the local fauna is abundant enough.
This I'm including just because it's kind of fun. It's this little cave that's under your keep in the western approach, and it seems to be your water supply. You go in, light the torches, and gather some stones, and you're standing in your water supply. Not the best idea, which is probably why it was sealed to begin with. But if we go over here, there's a dead body on a rock. Why? Why does nobody seem to care that we have a dead body in a rock? But then more amusingly, you can actually, there's another dead body over there, but more amusingly, there's a mosaic piece and then you can actually climb up this little bucket, which we don't get to see, but yeah, you just climb up and then you're in your keep again, and nobody seems to notice or care. It's just weird to me. This is another kind of just cool area. It's called a hidden stairway, and we run down over to the landmark area. There we go, and plant the flag. And yeah, no idea why this exists, but there's claw marks. Always a good sign, right? So we come down here, go down, come on, jump down. I need to get a new mouse because mine jerks around too much. There's also a mosaic piece over here. A little bit of loot. And if we go down, we see a lot of dead bodies. A lot of skeletons down at the bottom. So I'm gonna guess that's not a good area to go to. And speaking of interesting areas, this is some ruins I climbed to the top of just to see what the hell was up here. And once we get up there, we discover skeletons having a picnic. And what's really weird about it are these itty bitty statues. I mean, okay, yeah, we get to grab a thing of brandy or whatever, but there's these itty bitty statues on top of the cheese wheels, like shoveling the cheese. Why? They do kind of look like some statues that appeared in Dragon Age 2, just in the way that they're made, but they're not exactly the same, so I'm not sure if they're meant to be similar or not.
Lovely. Tell me we won't be fighting that creature.
Well, yes. Yes, we will. And we're gonna kick its ass. This is a little cave in a valley, and in it we have a note on from someone who is trying to figure out the way to reverse the Rite of Tranquility. Same little valley area. I like to point out this particular landmark because if you played the first game, the line, "Can I get you a ladder to get off my back?" is said by your warden, if your warden's female, a lot. Over and over again. Your female warden doesn't actually talk during cutscenes, but she will talk during combat, and it's like 3 lines over and over again. Neither female or male wardens speak during cutscenes in Dragon Age Origins. We only get them actually talking in Dragon Age 2, but both of them just cycle the same like 3 or 4 combat banters, and it's kind of to the point of being both funny and annoying. Up here we have another Venatori camp, archaeological dig thing. We've got a little bit of information about what they're doing right there. We're going to go in and disrupt it just because if the Venatori want something, it's probably a good idea to take it away from them.
Did they honestly think that would creep us out?
Now we are in this spooky temple type thing. If you'll notice up in front of us, we have demons and Venatori who aren't moving at all. And no, those are not statues.
Oh, this is rubbish. Let's do whatever and get out.
I can't argue with her there.
Everything's frozen. I don't think this was the Venatori.
The power required for such a spell would be immense.
Time-altering magic. Let's hope this proves less trying than Redcliffe.
This is a codex entry from a Tevinter, I suspect Magister, to their apprentice, talking about blood magic. The context seems to be that the apprentice wants to learn blood magic and is trying to justify it, and their teacher is basically going, no, look at this, no, bad, 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 bad. And the only good example of blood magic is someone who sacrificed his life to save his lover. And if the only thing that can be accomplished from blood magic that's good still results in the death of a good man, still not a good idea. Yep, it says Magister at the bottom. That's what I figured. Forgot it actually said it down there.
The texts Describe a chamber. This must be it.
Stone for a reason. Keep searching. There may be more.
Now we get to play hide and seek with stones and codex entries. Let's head on up to the main chamber.
A staff? Is this what they were after?
Don't go poking. The whole place feels wrong.
We find out that at least not all of the Venatori thought that messing around with this was a good idea, and they tried to make backups, much to the annoyance of their superiors. So now all we do is fight our way back through the demons that are unfrozen and the Venatori. No big deal.
Hurry, before this gets worse.
It's already worse. Just kill them.
I forgot you can't jump down there. Whoops.
Someone would have freed the demons eventually. At least we were here to stop them.
Out here we have a note that references Alexius' attempts at time magic. Now over here we have stumbled across a mining operation for red lyrium from the Templars. These were the first mines before the ones we've already shut down.
Delirium. Well, how about just no? Ugh. More dead and skittering.
Unfortunately in these mines there's nobody that you can save. The damage has already been done. A note in a raider camp after we killed the raiders. Heading back to the war table briefly, our efforts have gotten us at least one more war table mission. We have investigate an ancient laboratory, as well as support from Navarra, always good. You can't always tell what's going to trigger a war table mission to pop up. Sometimes you just come back and It's just like, okay, what? No? Okay. There is probably some rhyme or reason to it. I don't know what it is, though. At least for some of them. The results for the Arcanist and the Fade. We get a nice new recipe. Always good. Back in the Western Approach, we're going to follow up on our dragon hunting.
Of course, Durin's theory of high dragon behavior is absurd, but... Oh, yes? Did you need something?
The rest of your team went missing, and there are raiders all over the area. Should you be here alone?
I don't know what happened to the rest of the expedition, but the raiders have left me completely undisturbed. I have also seen Grey Wardens and strangers in odd black clothing, but they all ignore my presence completely.
You're a scholar. What can you tell me about this region?
The Western Approach is a remarkable place, as you are no doubt aware. Many magnificent creatures make their home here. Varghests, dragons, phoenixes. They thrive where few others can. The land was poisoned by the Second Blight. The Warden Fortress has stood since that time. Before the Blight, the ancient Imperium ruled here. Actually, I saw some Tevinters recently. Studying the runes, perhaps.
Tell me about yourself.
I am a professor at the University of Orlais. I have made it my life's work to write the definitive monograph on the hunting habits of dragons and their closest kin. On this trip alone, I have produced 20 scrolls of notes. More scholarship than has ever been done on the Southern Varghest. But my hope, my great ambition, is to observe the abyssal high dragon taking her prey. A sight no scholar has ever recorded.
One tail feather and one batch of intestines, as requested.
My friend, you are invaluable. I will certainly note your assistance in my monograph on the High Dragon. I will attempt to lure her out as soon as my background research is complete. Mistakes could be deadly. The ancient Tevinters wrote volumes on the study of dragons. I believe they had a laboratory in this desert. If only their work had not been lost. Truly, the Blights set the field of draconology back centuries. Deplorable.
I found this manuscript on dragons in an ancient Tevinter laboratory. Will it help you?
What remarkable diagrams. Are these chambers of the draconic heart? Oh, if only I could read the script. Do you perhaps know a linguist? Or a Tevinter historian?
I don't, but the Inquisition might. I'll speak to our specialists. I've spotted several dragon signs around the approach.
Most excellent, my friend. I don't suppose you noted the wound pattern? No matter, I'll look into that later. Andrast is mercy. From what I can tell, the dragon has been moving east and will be scouring the wastes next. Naturally, the dragon's hunting ground is full of miscreants, Whiteclaw raiders. They've covered the area in traps for Maker-only-knows reasons. Quite a mess.
We'll have to speak some other time.
What was that? Oh, my fellow researcher. What can I do for you?
The raiders are no longer in the way.
I've made note of the appropriate spots in the wastes for you to place lures. I must locate my supplies to create the bait. Then we can proceed.
We'll have to speak some other time.
So sadly we have to do a war table mission before we can kill the dragon. But down here we do have some codex entries on phylacteries, and this is the end of the Chantry Trail. Another Chantry logbook. This time they are actually researching how to reverse the Rite of Tranquility, and can it be done on someone who has been tranquil for a long time. Another note in the middle of nowhere, this one again from our Venatori friends.
Have the supplies reached our people in the Arbor Wilds?
I made sure of it. Too many strange plants there. We don't need stomach cramps sweeping the army.
The text that has to be translated.
Of course, Duran's theory of High Dragon behavior is absurd, but... Oh, yes? Did you need something?
My people have translated that Tevinter manuscript.
Studies on dragon hunting patterns? Migrations? Ha! Duran's theory that dragons can't see the color blue is refuted. With those dreadful raiders out of the way, we can finally lure out the abyssal High Dragon. You should have the honor, my friend. I've made note of the appropriate spots in the wastes for you to place lures. Place this bait, and then wait. It will be a momentous achievement in draconology.
I'm off to plant the bait for the High Dragon.
I cannot wait to hear your observations. You must make note of how she circles the hunting area.
We'll have to speak some other time.
Now we go through and actually lay a bunch of bait in order to trap the dragon into flying in and attacking us.
She'll be here soon. Prepare yourself. A dragon! I suppose we must fight it.
theory of High Dragon behavior is absurd, but... Oh, yes? Did you need something?
The High Dragon attacked me when I planted the bait. I'm afraid it's dead.
She attacked? How wonderful! You had a first-hand view of her behavior. Did you take any notes on her aggressive posturing? I suppose you wouldn't have. No matter. I should very much like to interview you. At a later time, of course. I could join your Inquisition. My expertise could be of use, and your scouts could help me find other specimens.
Certainly. I'm sure the Inquisition could use a draconologist.
Excellent. I'm sure my research will be of great use to you.
After that, I moved over to the Fallow Mire, started running around closing rifts there, found a waterlogged diary talking about living in the mire. There's a few more notes in here talking about the plague and living in the Fallow Mire.
Bog. Bog. It even sounds rubbish.
When we go back into the keep near where the Avar held our soldiers prisoner, we find a codex on the history of the keep itself.
I think Blackwall would have liked to have been here for this.
We hit enough of those measure the strength of the veil globe thingies that Solas has given us a new quest to measure the veil's strength. Once we complete this one, we have to actually go into the hinterlands and close what's supposed to be a big giant rift, but really isn't that big of a deal. That is going to wrap things up for this one. And our next one, we are going to continue closing rifts and doing little quests across the map just to complete the bulk of everything. I'm not a super completionist, as we've already established, so we're not going to get 100% of everything done before we finish the story, but I want to try to get the bulk of it done.